Hey guys, it's Melissa. I read this quote this morning that I love that said something to the effect of everybody marvels at the beauty of a butterfly, but they forget to take account for all of the hard work that the caterpillar had to go through to become a butterfly. I've actually been thinking about sharing with you some of my story of who I used to be versus who I am now, because I find that when I talk to people about my history and my past, who I used to be, they get surprised. They're surprised that I am who I am now versus who I used to be. Now, I'm not necessarily calling myself a beautiful butterfly. And when I do think of myself as a beautiful butterfly, I think of the fat caterpillar in A Bug's Life who has the teeny tiny wings. And he says, "Look at me, I am a beautiful little butterfly." Which I really like him, so I'm not insulting myself. Anyways, when I was younger, I grew up in a great home. I was very fortunate that my parents were married. They were godly and they were kind and they were grace oriented. And so I had an amazing childhood as far as my family went, but I did not like myself at all. I was probably the most insecure person I have ever met in my life. And that made me very needy in regards to relationships with people. I needed people's approval. I needed people to want to be by me, and I needed people to build me up. And because I was so needy, of course, when we're really that needy, it's hard. People often don't build us up and don't want to be by us, which just made me more insecure and more needy. Basically, everywhere I went, I assumed everybody in the world was talking about me. So I was very, very self-centered in a really sad way. I could walk through the mall and not know one single person, and I would assume that if there was a group of people who were talking and laughing, that they were laughing about me. So I desperately wanted to please people, and so I wasn't true to myself. In so many situations, I remember being really jealous of people who were really confident in who they were, where they could just ask questions they wanted to ask and say things that they wanted to say without worrying about what everyone around them would think. And I remember when I was in middle school, I was talking with some friends of mine who were a year older, and they were talking about motorcycles. And I was a middle school girl. Why would I know anything about a motorcycle? And I didn't know what they were talking about. And I wanted so badly to say, "I don't know what you're talking about," but I couldn't bring myself to say it. And another girl in the group did. Sorry, I have a runny nose today. And, I have a child. I'm sitting in my car so that it's quiet out here, and I have a child with his face pressed up against the window, and it's a little distracting. Sorry. Anyways, so I couldn't ask what they were talking about in regards to the motorcycle because I was so afraid that they would think I was stupid. And this friend of mine asked, and of course, nobody thought she was stupid. They just answered the question. And I remember being like, "Oh, why can't I just ask the things I want to ask?" So that's how I lived my life for so many years. That probably followed me into my 20s. It wasn't really until I became a mom when I was 25 that I felt like I started to transform out of that. I started really seeking God in a way that I wanted to be free from my insecurities, and I wanted to like who I was. Oh, because I had spent all of those years thinking I was ugly and fat, and I was never fat ever. And yet I really believed that I was. And I now believe that, I really believe that we are all beautiful, and because God made us and he doesn't make mistakes. But I hated what I would see in the mirror. I would look in the mirror and I would just be grossed out. And I mean, it was really sad because I was truly believing lies, and that all caused me to be a follower. I could not stand up for myself. I could not stand up for things that I believed in. I would just be quiet. I didn't necessarily chime in on things that I didn't believe in, but I definitely didn't stand up for it. So over the years, as God has removed so many of my insecurities and allowed me to see who I am because of who he made me, that has allowed me to become confident in myself. And I am confident that I am a child of God and that he made me for a very specific purpose. But I did not know that purpose for a long time. I didn't even know if I had a purpose. I didn't really know. And so if you are in a place where you're like, I'm not secure in myself, I don't feel like a leader, I don't know what my purpose is in life, and that makes you feel like you're just going to be there for the rest of your life, I want to give you hope that you don't have to stay stuck there. Seek after God. Let him let him start working things out of you. Let him start digging up the lies and throwing them away and filling you with truth of who you are. I had tattooed on my wrist about 1.5 years ago. Can you see that? It's like a weird angle. I am free, because God has truly freed me. And that is the only reason why I am who I am today. It's the only reason I'm confident. It's the only reason that I'm a leader. I'm not always a good leader, but I enjoy being a leader. I enjoy taking a strong stand on things that I believe in a way that will encourage and help other people. So that's my story. I am a beautiful little butterfly with my tiny little wings. And I hope that you remember that everybody who you admire has gone through something hard getting to that place.